So let's say you've got an idea you want to turn into something you can sell online. Maybe it's a simple guide that solves a problem you know really well. Maybe you're thinking about offering coaching or eventually creating a course around something you have years of experience with. You've been thinking about it for a while and you're starting to picture what this could actually look like. You know who you want to help, you know what they're struggling with, and maybe it's even a problem you've personally experienced, so you understand it really, really well. On paper, it makes sense. And that's usually where you get excited. You start thinking about what you could create, what you'd add to it, what you would want to call it, maybe how much you'd charge. And pretty soon you're thinking about the website, your content, how you're going to sell it before you've really answered the most important question. Does the person I want to help care enough about this problem to actually do something about it? Because there's a difference between a problem someone has and a problem they're actively trying to solve. And I didn't always understand that. If I could see the problem clearly, surely they could too. And if I knew I could help them with it, well, there must be a business there. But that's not always how it works. Think about how many things in your own life you'd probably like to change. Maybe you'd like to organize that closet you've been ignoring for 6 months. You know it's a mess. You'd probably love to open that door and not have everything fall out on you. But are you sitting on the couch tonight, searching YouTube for somebody to help you organize it? Are you pulling out your credit card to buy a course about it? Maybe, but probably not. Having the problem isn't the same thing as wanting the solution badly enough to go looking for it. And when you're trying to build a business, that difference matters a lot. Because I don't want you spending the next 3 months sitting at your kitchen table after working all day as a nurse, writing lessons, designing PDFs, figuring out your funnel, building this beautiful offer, only to put it out there and hear crickets. And then what happens? You start questioning everything again. Maybe I chose the wrong niche. Maybe nobody wants this. Or maybe I need to change my business. And off you go looking for another idea. That's the cycle I want you to avoid, because sometimes the idea isn't even the problem. You just built too much of it before you collected enough evidence. And when I say evidence, I'm not talking about asking your husband if he thinks it's a good idea. I'm not talking about asking 3 friends, would you buy this? And I'm definitely not talking about posting a poll that says, would anybody be interested in a course about blank? Because people will tell you all kinds of things when buying isn't actually required. I want to know what they're already doing when nobody's asking them. What are they searching for? What questions do they keep asking? What are they frustrated enough to complain about? What have they already tried that didn't work? What words do they use when they're talking about it? Because that's where this gets really interesting. You don't necessarily have to go out and find 10 people and convince them to talk to you. A lot of the conversations you need are already happening. They're in YouTube comments, Facebook groups, Reddit threads, comments under somebody else's content. Anywhere your person is already talking honestly about the problem you're considering building a business around. And when you start paying attention, you may find exactly what you hoped you'd find. The same problem coming up again and again and again. That's evidence. Or, and this is just as valuable, you may realize the thing you thought was her biggest problem barely comes up at all. That doesn't mean you throw your whole business away. It means you learned something before you spent 3 months building the wrong solution. And that's where I want to take you next. Because I don't want to leave you with, go research your audience. That's way too vague. I want to show you exactly what I'd look for, where I'd look for it, and how you can do this without turning it into another 3-week research project. Because by the end of this, you're going to have one very simple assignment, one place, 10 conversations, one pattern, and I'll show you exactly what I mean by that. And please don't turn this into another research project where you have 17 tabs open on your computer and 3 pages of notes before you ever make a decision. Keep this really simple. Remember, choose one place where the person you want to help is already spending time. And again, that might be a Facebook group, Reddit, or it could be in the comments under a YouTube video about the problem you're thinking about solving. The platform really isn't the important part. The conversation is. Because I want you to stop looking at what other business owners are selling for just a minute and start listening to what real people are saying. Let's say you want to help women over 50 who are worried about whether they're financially ready for retirement. Don't immediately start looking at somebody else's retirement course and thinking, okay, she's selling this. Maybe I should create something like that too. Go find the women you're thinking about helping and listen. Maybe one woman says she's terrified she's going to have to work until she's 70. Another says she has no idea whether she's saved enough money or not. Someone else says her husband has always handled the finances, and now she's realizing she doesn't even know where they stand. Now we're getting somewhere, because those aren't marketing phrases somebody made up. Those are real women telling you what's actually worrying them. And here's where I want you to go a little bit deeper. Don't just look for the topic, look for the emotion underneath it. What are they frustrated about? What are they afraid might happen? What have they already tried? What do they wish they could finally figure out? And pay really close attention to the words they use, because sometimes the way we describe a problem is completely different from the way they describe it. You may call it retirement planning. She says, I'm scared I'm never going to be able to stop working. That's the language I want you listening for. And by the way, if you're new here, I'm Christy. I've been a nurse for 34 years and I'm building an online business alongside my nursing career. And if you're trying to build yours too, I know how easy it is to get buried under all the advice about what you should be doing and still not feel confident that you're spending your limited hours on the right things. That's why I'd love to invite you to my Nurse Exit Plan Insider list. It's for nurses who want to stop wasting time chasing every new strategy and start getting clearer about what actually deserves their focus, so they can build a business that gives them more choices for their future without letting it take over their life now. If that sounds like what you need, I'm going to leave the link below this video. Okay, so back to those conversations. I want you to find 10, not 100, 10 comments, 10 questions, 10 posts, 10 discussions where people who could realistically be your audience are talking about the problem in their own words. And don't go into it trying to prove your idea is right. That's important, because once we fall in love with an idea, we have a funny way of noticing everything that supports it and scrolling right past everything that doesn't. Go in curious. You're looking for the truth, even if the truth means you need to tweak your idea a little bit. And as you're reading those 10 conversations, write down what keeps showing up. Not every random complaint, the pattern. Maybe 5 women mention the same fear. Maybe they keep asking almost the exact same question. Maybe you notice they've already tried the same solution and they're frustrated because it didn't work. That's the kind of thing I'd circle on my paper, because now you're not sitting at your kitchen table after work trying to imagine what somebody might want. She's telling you. And think about how much time that could save you. You might go into this convinced you need to create a course about A, and 10 conversations later realize they're practically begging for help with B. That's not bad news. I'd much rather find that out now than after I've spent 6 weeks creating the wrong offer. Now, 10 conversations aren't going to prove you've found $1 million business idea. That's not what I'm telling you, but they can give you a signal. Enough of a signal to decide whether this idea deserves a closer look. But there's one more piece I don't want you to skip. Because people talking about a problem is one thing, trying to solve it is another. And there are a few clues I would look for that can tell you the difference. That's what we're going to look at next. So how do you know if you're actually trying to solve the problem? This is where I'd start looking for a few really simple clues. Are they asking things like, has anybody found something that actually is working? What have you tried? Can anyone recommend someone who helps with this? Maybe they're talking about a course they bought, a program they tried, a book they read. Maybe they're frustrated because they've already spent money trying to fix the problem and they're still looking for an answer. Pay attention to that, because now we're seeing more than, yeah, this bothers me. We're seeing, I've tried to fix this and I haven't found the answer yet. That's a very different conversation. And sometimes you'll see people asking the same question over and over, but nobody is giving them a very good answer. I'd pay really close attention to that too, because that gap may be where your business starts to get really interesting. Now, I don't want you coming away from this thinking you need to find 10 people waving their credit cards in the air before you're allowed to move forward. That's not what we're doing. We're looking for evidence that this isn't just a problem you think she has. She's talking about it. She's asking questions about it. She's frustrated by it. She's looking for answers. Maybe she's already spent money trying to solve it. And the more of those signals you start seeing together, the less you're guessing. And that's really what I want you to take away from this video. Because when you're building your business around a nursing career, you don't want to have endless evenings to spend creating things and hoping somebody wants them. You know what those evenings look like. You've worked all day. You finally get home. Maybe you eat dinner, change your clothes, sit down at the kitchen table with your laptop, and you've got an hour or two before you're exhausted and ready for bed. Those hours matter. I want you putting them into an idea that has some evidence behind it. So here's your assignment. Remember, one place, 10 conversations, one pattern. Go where your potential customer is already talking. Read 10 real conversations and write down the problem, question, fear, or frustration you keep seeing. Then ask yourself one more question. Are they just talking about this, or are they trying to solve it? That's it. You don't need to build anything yet. You don't need to spend the weekend creating a course. And you definitely don't need to change your whole business because you didn't find the answer you wanted in 10 comments. You're gathering clues. And if you find a strong pattern, go deeper. Look at another 10. Listen a little longer. See if the same thing keeps showing up. Because I'd much rather you spend a couple of evenings listening now than spend the next 3 months building something nobody was asking for. And if you're a nurse over 50 who's serious about building an online business, but you're tired of second guessing every decision you make, I'd love to invite you to my Nurse Exit Plan Insider list. It's there to help you get clear about what deserves your focus, make more confident decisions about what you're building, and keep moving toward a business that can eventually give you more income, freedom, and choices for your future. I'll leave the link below this video. And before you go, I'd love to hear what you find. Come back and leave me a comment. What pattern did you notice in those 10 conversations? I'd love to know. And if this video helped you think a little differently about the business you're building, be sure to watch this next video. I think it'll help you take what we talked about today and keep moving forward from here. I'll see you over there.